The man who killed an Air Force lieutenant colonel in a deadly DUI crash will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Paul Wayne Stevenson was convicted of first-degree murder in April in Matt Anderson's death. Denver 7 was in the courtroom today in the emotional sentencing and testimony. Claire Lavazorio joins us now live. Claire?
Life in prison without the possibility of parole plus 92 years. That was the sentence handed down to Paul Stevenson inside this courtroom behind me after he was convicted of first-degree murder in a drunk driving crash that killed Colonel Lieutenant Matthew Anderson. Now, it was an emotional hearing. We heard from Matthew's family as well as his fellow service members who asked for the maximum sentence to be upheld today. Now, inside that courtroom, the prosecution showed the Lieutenant Colonel's final moments at the Douglas County Fair with his family. And that was just minutes until we saw the video of the crash that ultimately took his life. In August of 2024, prosecutors say Stevenson was driving his truck on Plum Creek Parkway in Castle Rock, where he swerved across 4 lanes of traffic, driving 45 miles an hour into a 7-Eleven gas station, hitting the Anderson family's car and Matthew, who was pumping gas. Inside the car were the family's 4 children who survived that crash after suffering various injuries. At the time, Matthew's wife, Allie, was getting popsicles inside the gas station's convenience store. The DA says Stevenson drank a bottle of Fireball whiskey and 2 beers before getting behind the wheel that day. And after today's sentencing, we heard from the main prosecutor as well as Matthew's father, who hopes that this case sets a precedent for other cases in the county.
I hope this sends a message to people that just go out and get all drunked up and get in their car or truck or whatever and go drive somewhere.
This is a good sentence. This is a good sentence because we're here because the defendant did not care. He didn't care whose life he took. He didn't care who he got injured. He didn't care what was left behind. But luckily for all of us, what was left behind was an incredibly strong family.
During the sentencing, we also heard from the defendant, Stevenson himself, who said he didn't think he had a fair trial and that his mental health was never taken into consideration throughout this case. The judge ultimately saying that Stevenson showed no empathy toward the Anderson family throughout this case. He'll be serving his sentence at the Department of Corrections. I am live in Castle Rock. Claire Lavazorio, Denver 7.